What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Clydesdale Media Bible Study. It's a lot to say. I'm so glad for everybody who has joined. I'm super excited about this. It's a little bit of going outside my comfort zone, but it's something I'm feeling called to do. So here we are. And what tonight is we're not gonna dive into it tonight because the way this is going to work is we're going to walk through an app together. We're going to walk through reading the Bible in a year, and every week we're going to check in. We're going to see what everybody's thoughts are and what we read during that week. And I'm super excited to do this. It really doesn't have an outline. It's going to be really free flowing from the get go because we're just going to read it. And however it speaks to you, or if you have questions about what you read, we're going to bring it up in this discussion and talk about it. And so I want everybody to feel comfortable because I've done this twice already and it spoke to me very differently both times I did it. And so there are no wrong answers or no ways that your interpretation is your interpretation of how it goes. And I want to be open to everybody's thoughts and ideas because my belief is everybody is welcome at God's table. And that's what we're going to do here for this. So I just want to walk through kind of how to get the app, what the plan is we're using, how it works, what it's going to look like for you as we go through this, and then how it's going to work on our end. So here we go. So it's going to start very simply with this app. If you don't already have it, it is the Bible app by YouVersion. You can go to your iOS store or your Google Play or whatever Android app there is now for this. You look up the Bible app. This is usually what pops up first. You download this to your phone or your iPad or whatever device you want to use. And this is the app we're going to use. It looks like this when you get it on your phone. That's what the icon looks like. Once you open the app, you're probably going to have to register for some things. And then once you complete that, you're going to look for this Bible plan. And this is the Bible in a year. It looks just like this. It is the first one that pops up for me in the Bible app. I hope it's the same for you. This is the one I've done twice. It's really well done, and this is the one we're going to use for this study. So, with that, once you get in, and once you get this downloaded and registered and all that stuff, and you find the plan, you're then going to hit Start Plan, that big black button there in the middle. And what you're going to see is the first day of the plan. And that is day one. And the way it works is they call it two readings, one from the Old Testament and one from the New Testament. So the example here is Genesis 1 and 2 and Matthew 1. And then so you incrementally go through both the Old Testament and New Testament at the same time. And that way you get a little bit of both. So it's really cool that way. And then you will hit start reading down there in the bottom right-hand corner, and the text will pop up. And the text looks like this. And what I think is important, and you can do it in whatever version you want to do. To me, the NLT, you see it there at the top, just to the right of Genesis 1. The NLT, for me, is the easiest translation to kind of keep me going through this. It's done in a way that's pretty easily digestible, and in a way that's not Old English or anything like that, and makes the most sense to me. So that's the translation I will be using as I go through this is the New Living Translation, or NLT. And Kenneth, it's awesome that you've done this already, so you know what it's like. Elise, yes, this is the most popular Bible app out there. So glad you already have it. So, and you notice at the bottom, um, so on a phone, you just kind of scroll up with this, and the text will keep going. What I like to do, but it's your personal choice, is there's that play button at the bottom. It will actually read it to you. And I'm a person who likes multiple senses working at the same time. So I read it and listen to it at the same time. The playing of it and listening to it keeps my pace up so that I keep moving through this, and that I can understand. This app will also let you highlight sections of interest to you. You can do that and save them for later, things like that, which is really, really cool. The first time I did this, I was still working in an office. So some days I would start it at home where I would read and listen, and then I would finish the reading in the car on the way to work. Um, and that worked for me too. But when I'm home and I have the time, I go ahead to read and listen at the same time. I think it's the best way to comprehend and retain what I've read. So you'll go through um, each section for that day. And when you're done, or you back out, say you only get Genesis 1 done and you still have to do Genesis 2 and Matthew 1, you will back out and you can come back later in the day. But the app has already marked off Genesis 1 is completed. So you've completed that section. And then when you come back in, you can start right at Genesis 2 and go to Matthew 1 after that. So it's really cool the way it works in that way. Um, so yeah, super excited about this. It's a really easy to use app, so I hope everybody likes it. The way it's going to work for us is um, we will, in my mind, you can start it whenever you want. In my mind, I'm starting on Sunday. So Sunday will be day one for me. I want this episode to run for a couple days so people know that this is happening, and and they can jump on if they want to. We'll give it 1 week, so Sunday to the following Sunday, and then we'll meet for the first time and discuss um, anything that you found that you want to discuss in that reading, or anything you found fascinating or interesting, or you have questions about. And I am no expert in the Bible, but that's why we have a group, right? That we can kind of put it out there, discuss, talk about it, and get different opinions on that. And again, very free from judgment. Any opinion is valid in my opinion, and I want everybody to have their say during this. So we'll start on Sunday. The first session will be the following Sunday, and then we'll continue to have episodes every Sunday throughout the year. Now, this actually completes the study in 314 days, so it's a little bit less than a year. Um, and that's really cool. The other thing is very forgiving. If you miss a day or only get partial reading done in one day, you can pick it up the next day and catch back up. It will give you reminders saying, hey, you fell behind, you might want to catch up, blah, blah, blah. So it does that. You can choose to ignore, accept, whatever. Again, free of judgment. We all live busy lives, but I want you all to be relaxed and be able to get through this any way that is best for you. Um, the other thing is we're going to have a live call in during that time. So if anybody has questions and they want to call in, we can go ahead and do that. If you just want to stay in the chat, we can do that. And then if for some reason you can't be with us live, like in the chat or on the phone or in that place to be, then it's okay that you catch up with us a couple days later on YouTube. And then if you have questions about anything, pop them in the comments or send me them on Instagram. And what I'll do is we will address your questions the following week. So everybody has a chance to have their say in whatever question or comment or discussion topic you may have. So the beginning of each week is we'll recap and answer any questions that may have come in from the week before where people could not be with us live. And then we'll move into the next week's topic and go forward with that. I think it's laid out pretty well. The first two chapters of the Old Testament are stories. So it's really easy to kind of get wrapped up in the stories of those. If you get to those lineage pieces, like any lineage pieces like John begat James, James begat Matthew, don't get caught up in that. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to get through that. I will not lie. My first time through the Bible, I skipped over some of that because I didn't understand the lineage at the time, and I just needed to get through and learn the Bible the first time through before I could understand how the generations kind of fell in the Bible up to that point. So please don't get caught up and wrapped up in that part. The rest of it is really storytelling at this point. Um, and I think it is more important to get through the meat of it than the generational pieces. And you'll find like further into the Bible, there's some spots where it's not the generational pieces, but it's like all the measurements of the Ark of the Covenant, all the measurements of Noah's Ark, all of that kind of stuff. Don't get wrapped up in how many cubits the Noah's Ark was. Just get to the story part where you understand what's kind of going on. That's just my advice your first time through. Second time through, you're more aware of some things like that, and it's a little bit easier to kind of go through. Um, Yeah, Kenneth, that's a great topic as well. There is a YouTube channel called the Bible Project. They break down every book of the Bible in a quick 5 to 10 minute video breakdown, um, and it's pretty awesome. But this Bible app each day is probably only 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes, but usually 10 to 15 minutes, and that's all the reading is, and you're done for the day with that. So that is pretty much it. I know there's some comments in here about a Discord channel. I am all in favor of that. I wanted to see kind of the interest we had, because but a Discord channel is great. And if Kenneth, if you would be so kind to set one up, I would truly appreciate that. I'm already on Discord for other things. Um, that would be an amazing thing if you could do that for me. And we'll go ahead and start that Discord channel now, since you guys have asked for it. Elise, I have drove by it as well. I've never stopped. Um, but it is something I do want to see. Um, I just every time I've gone that way, I've been going to a CrossFit competition. And by the end of that, I'm usually like just dog tired on the way home. So, but yeah, I definitely would like to see that someday in my life. With that, I will open it up if you guys have any more questions. Um, and Kenneth, thank you so much. You're going to set up that Discord channel. Um, and Elise, I didn't know his nickname was Discord Dude, but now I do. And now I will take advantage of that. Kenneth says, I hear the Ark Encounter is awesome, but pricey. We had 2 cars, 2 adults, 2 kids, and 2 dogs going from Vegas to North Carolina. That's a lot of twos, just like the Ark there, Kenneth. All you needed was 2 giraffes, 2 monkeys, 2 snakes, yeah, and you would have fit right in. And with that, if you guys have any questions, let me know. It's pretty simple. Again, I want this to run just for a couple days, and then we'll start up on Sunday. And then, so the following Sunday, and let me look at my calendar really quick. So we will start the reading on the 9th, And the 16th will be the first time we kind of get back together and talk about what we read. And that will be very, very cool. So I'm super, super excited to do this. I'm nervous as well. I'm letting you know. This is a little bit outside my comfort zone. I have led Bible studies in the past, um, but usually they're very regimented in what we talk about. Even though when I led them, we always kind of got off track, not off track, but I let people have the freedom to talk about whatever is going on in their lives that associated with whatever we were talking about. And so I've done that. Just to let you know, I have um, I have been a Christian my whole life. I grew up in a Christian church, Christian family. My mom is one of the, gosh, how do I say this? She's one of the most godly people I've ever known in my life. She does so much for so many people. And she is a true believer who, in every situation, always looks to God in either thanks or praise or request or ask or anything like that. And she, in good times and bad, God is always there for her and she always looks to him. And that's how I was raised. Um, my attention to God has not always been at peak performance over my life. There have been times where I've strayed away. He was always in my heart. So I never like went off the rails into another belief or thought process. I just didn't always thank him or look to him when I should have. And it's only been in the last probably 20 years that I've really kind of found God again fully in my life, where I try to thank him for everything, try to um, give up my problems to him. That's something I still struggle with today as a control freak and a type A, that I give up my problems to God and let him take care of things. That's very, very hard for me. And it's the biggest struggle in my life with who I am. And that's what I'm working on. And then, um, and then here we are today. In So when we moved to Columbus, my wife and I found a really awesome church. We were going there, but we weren't connected to the church family. It was a very big church. You kind of got lost in the shuffle. Then when I found my CrossFit gym, I actually ended up working out with a pastor in most of my classes. And to support him, I started going to his church just to be supportive. And it was much smaller, much more intimate, much more what I grew up with. And that helped me get closer to God again. In 2018 is when I read the Bible for the first time from cover to cover. There's been times where I started it in paperback or paper form where I started it and never really made it that far. In 2018, I did this app and made it all the way from start to finish. And then I did that again right before COVID, and did that through COVID, which was really good for me because I was going through a lot at the time, and I really, that really needed that in my life. So that's my story. Um, Elise, it's cool that you were a Sunday school teacher. My mom was a Sunday school teacher. I really looked up to her. Um, Kenneth, you just did your first VBS. When I was a kid, VBS were the best weeks of the summer. I love them so much. And it's cool that you did that for the kids in your area. um, Nice, Kenneth. Nice. You're just those parents that stayed with your kids the whole time instead of just dropping them off. Yeah, we call that helicopter parenting, Kenneth. My wife would have done the exact same thing. Just saying. Well, with that, I'll let everybody go. Thank you, Kenneth, for setting up that Discord channel. When we get back together a week from Sunday, and that is on the 16th, we will give out that Discord channel, and we'll start that as a discussion part. And that way, if you can't be with us live, you can still get in the discussion group and we can bring up those topics live on the air. So, everybody who joined me tonight, thank you so much for being here. And I have to say, Dominica, uh, your daughter is a major player in why I'm doing this. After talking to her, that is why I felt God called me that night. I can't explain it any more than that, that I have to do more with my faith. And so thank her for me because her faith and her strength really inspired me. And I felt God call me that night when I was talking to her. So thank her for me for that. And with that, guys, I will see everybody a week from Sunday, July 16th. I think we're going to go 7 p.m. For that Eastern time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. If there's better times, please let me know because I'm a little bit flexible on that day. But I find that the evenings we get more engagement, more live audience. So that's why I kind of pick that. So Sunday, the 16th at 7 p.m., I will see everybody there. Thank you so much. And we'll catch everybody that night. God bless. See everybody soon.